So right now I have read 144 books, but we could maybe add 5 more if I manage to get through all of these comics, which would put me at 149, which sucks because I would, if anything, I want to hit 150, a good even number, but oh well. And now it's time for my ranking top 10 best and worst books in 2025. Oh boy, let's start with the worst. Let's start with the honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, Batman, A Death in the Family. Again, this comic, I don't hate it, and I think it's pretty funny, but I also read other Batman comics this year, and I mean, in general, I know what a Batman story shouldn't be like, and yeah, Death in the Family is stupid. It's try hard. That's my review in just one phrase: try hard. The comic. It's pretty much a failure. It's funny. I would recommend it if you want to read all the what is considered classic Batman comics. Just be aware it's a classic, but it's not a good one. And then the second honorable mention would be Nightmares in the Sky by Stephen King, which I can't bring myself to hate because it's just an essay by King where he isn't really saying much. And then the main focus of the book is just photos of gargoyles in like New York on buildings and stuff. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't get much out of it. So there you go. Now for the actual top 10 worst novels. Number 10. Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. I don't hate this book. It still has good character stuff in it. It was funny at parts and entertaining throughout, but it went too far away from what I liked about the first 2 books in the Dresden Files series, which is the detective, elements of it. And I also didn't like that he just randomly introduced like a main character in this with no real introduction. Like there's this knight who's like a modern guy, but he's like a knight with a magical sword, and he's just hanging out with Harry Dresden now. They are partners, and that just comes out of nowhere after book 2, in my opinion, ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger with Dresden becoming aware someone has been like fucking with him specifically over the course of the last 2 books, and there was some sort of like overall storyline being begun, but I guess not. I hope the 4th book is better. Again, this doesn't make me abandon the series, but it was a disappointing read. Number 9, Dying of the Light by George R.R. Martin. It's not bad, but I just didn't care for it. That's the best way to describe it. It's not my thing. It just bored me for most of it. And sadly, if it was great, if I was really invested and, that would have been nice, and I would have tried more George R.R. Martin, but this book just being boring for me, coupled with the fact that I think Martin is a cunt, in general, that just makes me not want to read anything else he has written. Number 8, Succulent Prey by Ralph James White. A extreme horror novel, and those are famous for being extremely gruesome and bloody and gory and violent. Sure. But at least be more creative and fun. Again, Big Head by Edward Lee is my go-to example. That's a book you shouldn't recommend to anyone because they're going to look at you funny and think you're a freak. But it was crazy and entertaining, and, I got something out of reading that. Succulent Prey has one creative idea with, the main character being a serial killer and cannibal who thinks that the reason for it is because he was abused by a serial killing cannibal when he was a child, and he thinks serial killing is like a virus. But it's not much done with it. It's just an excuse for all the disgusting and violent stuff. And I'm sorry, like, I get these books are lowbrow, but you need a little bit more than just that. Number 7, Alien, Out of the Shadows by Tim Levin. It is solidly written. Ellen Ripley being in here is both... It's what ruins the book, But Ripley herself is well written as a character, which makes it kind of conflicting. I don't fully hate this book because it does have some good stuff in it and good alien stuff, what you would expect, horror elements. But it's just so stupid. And it feels like this was forced upon the author. I hope it was, because I like to think Tim Levin may be more intelligent. I don't know if he is, but yeah. Sadly, not good. Probably the worst alien novel I have read so far. Sad. I know Levin can write at least somewhat better than this. Number 6, Kari Mora by Thomas Harris. This novel is an actual shitpost. Read Red Dragon and then read Kari Mora. You would never guess these are written by the same author. It's night and day. It really feels like Harris was forced to write it or really just didn't give a shit to do it. And yeah, it's so bare bones, it's almost incredible. Imagine a story where all the details are missing. This feels like beyond the first draft. Is there a zero draft? That's basically what this is. Then we got number 5, Hell House by Richard Matheson. It's the haunting of Hill House, but horny and stupid. It was extremely disappointing because I love I Am Legend. I love The Shrinking Man. I had the highest expectations, and it just, yeah, it's not good. Number 4, Thrawn Treason by Timothy Zahn. One of the most overrated Star Wars writers, a mid at best sci-fi writer in general, with his favorite Mary Sue character, a bad, boring story. Yeah, I don't like it at all. The only saving grace is that it's better than Thrawn Alliances. Double vision. Blaster fire is coming at me. I step to the side. Double vision. Shit. Absolute dog shit. Oh boy. Number 3. Ooh, by Timur Vermes. I can see he was going for something creative and different with this very bizarre writing style. It caused me a headache trying to read it. The main story isn't really compelling anyway, at least when I can somewhat follow it. This is all in all just trash. And the fact that this was only sold as a hardcover for like crazy money. This book is like not even 200 pages. It's a hardcover. Some pages only have one word on it. And it was sold for like 15 euro, if not more. And that's just insane. I'm sorry. That just makes this even worse. So yeah, I mean, I hope I have another book of his that I hope is better and goes back to his roots. Because again, this guy wrote Ist wieder da, Look Who's Back, and that's a very good book. Number 2, Hunters of Dune by Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert. I did another stream about this one. It's shit, it's cancer, it's disrespectful to Frank Herbert's work, it's disrespectful to Herbert, to Dune, to the universe, to writing itself. It's shit. And the bad part is, it is already shit, and then the last chapter happens, which is setting up Sandworms of Dune. When the robots come in, because everybody who reads Dune, everybody knows, oh yeah, robots, Terminator, Skynet, that's the thing. Sure. It's absolute garbage. And also, it should be noted again, I brought this up already in the stream, where I reviewed it, but I started Hunters of Dune, I paused it for an entire year, and then just continued from the chapter where I left off. And this book is so Kevin. He just keeps repeating the same information again and again and again and again to stretch the length of the book. I was able to get back in and I was right back into it. I didn't feel like I was missing anything because he kept repeating the same information. Fuck Hunters of Dune, and fuck Kevin J. Anderson, and fuck Brian Herbert. But now, that was just number 2. let's get to the number one, and oh boy, Never Flinch by Stephen King is one of the worst novels I've ever read. It's the worst Stephen King book of all time, and it's not even a debate, really. I was kind of debating with myself because he has released a bunch of stinkers, especially lately. Never Flinch is incompetently written. This is the first book of his where I could understand people making the conspiracy theory that he has ghostwriters. This is the first book of his I could believe he had AI write parts of it. This feels like it came straight out of the first class in like a creative writing class. First time being there, first attempt at writing a novel. That's this book. It feels like King has unlearned all of the lessons he has learned over a career of writing. It is incompetent in so many areas, like character writing, dialogue writing, plotting. So many basic plot holes that are, oh my god. And then add on onto all of that, you have to add Stephen King being completely detached from reality, from the reality he's writing about. And I'm sorry having to age shame, but Stephen King is almost 80. And you can tell, you can very much tell. If he did stuff like Hansel and Gretel or like Fairy Tale, where he's just, Grandpa King just trying to tell like fairy tale stories and stuff, and not doing like, very suspense-filled crime stories and stuff, maybe that would be better, in all honesty. He's lost all bite, first of all. He lost touch with anyone who's under 70 years old. His dialogue for 20-year-olds in this book, who unironically in the year 2024 say YOLO. I'm out of words with this one. And he's already writing the next Holly Gibney novel. Hype. Again, I have some hopes for Talisman 3. I hope he put effort in and trying to honor the legacy of Peter Straub and stuff. And that book is mostly going to be fantasy, and unless he's going to retcon Black House and stuff, that one is going to be set mostly in a fantasy world, so you can maybe get away with bad dialogue. Well, not bad dialogue, but he doesn't have to write about modern stuff and modern slang. So yeah, that is the top 10 worst books I've read this year. Some real fucking trash among them. But now, the top 10 best books I have read in 2025. These are the books I would recommend you all. Please give these books a chance. Read them. Let's start with number 10. Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. This book has interesting, at the time, contemporary scientific topics with cloning and stuff. It works as an adventure story. It works as a horror story. And it even works, if you have seen the film, this offers enough different stuff and is still a very enjoyable read on its own. Number 9 is Schachnovelle by Stefan Zweig. Again, I wish I could tell you what this is called in English. I think it's called The Royal Game, actually. You can look it up. It's a post-World War II story about a man who was imprisoned by the Nazis and learned to become a master chess player. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's just fantastic, highly recommended. It's also very short, Number 8, The Price of Freedom by A.C. Crispin. This book is gigantic, and much like A.C. Crispin's Han Solo trilogy, she gives a great backstory to the character of Jack Sparrow, expands the world, expands the character, makes him interesting, and it just works. She's just fantastic. Rest in peace, by the way. I wish she would have written more stuff, but here we are. Price of Freedom. If you can find it, get it. It's mostly available online now because the physical book is totally out of print, but you can find it. Number 7, Absolute Martian Manhunter by Dennis Kemp. This is one of my favorite comics of all time now. Again, I said a lot about it already. It's insanely creative. I mean, I can only assume, because again, I'm not familiar with the original Martian Manhunter, a radical reinterpretation of what the Martian Manhunter is. In this one, he's the Martian Mindfucker, as we know. And yeah, I just loved it. I absolutely loved this one. And can't wait for more of it, honestly. Number 6 is 5 Decembers. This is one of the best crime novels I've ever read, being set in a historical setting with the attack on Pearl Harbor and stuff, going in a direction I wasn't really expecting, and just being very well written and just fast-paced as hell. Highly recommend this book. Number 5, Der Richter und sein Henker, in English, The Judge and His Hangman by Friedrich Dürrenmatt. Another great crime novel. Can't recommend this one enough. It's very short, but I love his writing style, and I really like the twists in this. Number 4, The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This is very memorable. This is fucking insane. It's a story about a woman who wants to become a tree. And it's told in 3 separate novellas, if you will, all about her, but told from the POV of different characters. Like, first it's her husband, then from the perspective of like her in-law, and then from the perspective of her sister. And there's a lot you can get out of this book. Again, I don't want to spoil, but it has some great fucking imagery in here. Then number 3 is Ghost Story by Peter Straub, which is up there as one of my favorite horror novels of all time. It is fantastically written. This is what I would call literary horror. This, I just try to imagine this story written by Stephen King would be trash, but Straub elevates a simple ghost story about basically a shapeshifter in a way. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's tense, it's atmospheric as hell, and I just really enjoyed it. But you have to be aware, Ghost Story is very much slow burn. And that's the best type of horror, you know. Not very on the violent side. There's violence in here, obviously, but yeah. If you like slow burn horror, Ghost Story is it. Number 2, Liebe deinen Nächsten by Erich Maria Remarque. This is a fantastic story about, you know, people on the run from Nazi Germany, having to jump borders, you know, between different countries, having to live without a home, and going into that. There's another romance in here as well that works fantastically, and very memorable and fun scenes in here as well. Again, Remarque is just one of the all-time great writers. And this one is up here, maybe my 3rd favorite of his books. I think the English title is something like Flotsam. Again, if you can get it, definitely do so. One of the absolute best. And this leads me to number 1. Number 1 is Das Jesus Video by Andreas Eschbach. In terms of pure fun in reading, this is it. Again, the best way to describe it is if an Indiana Jones story wasn't a pulp action adventure, but like a slow burn, down-to-earth thriller. It's a shame this one isn't really available in English unless there is like unofficial translations, but I had a fucking blast reading this one, and there is a sequel that was released like years later, so I'm curious to check that one out. And since I just realized I forgot the honorable mentions for the best ones, let me give you these 2 closing out. Not quite in the top 10, but still among the best I read this year would be World War Z by Max Brooks. Again, this is the quintessential zombie book because the genre doesn't really offer much in terms of novels. Again, like I mentioned, there's the quintessential vampire book like Dracula, but there is no like actual classic with zombies other than this one. And I mean, there's good reason for it. It's elevated by the narrative, the structure being told as like this historical report. This would be the first honorable mention. The second would be And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I wasn't expecting much, but it kind of blew me away, and yeah, I definitely want to check out more of her books now. It doesn't feel old-fashioned at all. And even though I was vaguely familiar with the premise, because again, it's such a famous story, I was still very much surprised by the twists in here. So yeah, those are some of the best books I have read this year. There are many more I talked about during the full, live stream and talking about all of them. Like King's Sorrow by Joe Hill was so fun, as was Nosferatu by him, or Watership Down. So much good stuff in here, just so much good stuff. Absolute Batman. That one as well.